I grew up with, both my parents were divorced. My father was Muslim, and my mother was a non-practicing Catholic, and they divorced when I was really, really young. So I didn't really know God, but in 4th grade, a friend of mine invited me to church, and I loved the way that I felt when I was there. And her whole family went together. Her mother, her father, her brothers and sisters, and they loved me. They picked me up every morning to go to church with them as long as I wanted to go, which I did, and they just kind of made me part of their family on Sundays, so I looked forward to that. When I was 18, I ended up getting married, and I had my first son, and I was so determined to have that family that took me in on Sundays when I was younger. My husband at the time and I started to go to church together, and I started to get that feeling again, but it wasn't quite exactly the same, but it was good. After my 3rd child, shortly after him, we were separated, and then we got divorced, and that was really, really hard. I don't want to say that I blamed God, but I became even more disconnected. I kind of didn't realize it, but I was, losing what little bit of faith that I was starting to get back or starting to feel. And about almost 2 years later, I met my husband, my second husband. We were married for quite a long time, like 8 years. We were married. We ran a successful plumbing business together. We went to church together. We had my daughter Alexis, and at 3 years old, she was diagnosed with autism. And again, I felt, wow, this is crazy. Is how I remember thinking, like, oh my gosh, what do we even do with that? And my husband he was amazing. Like, we prayed about it together, and we were able to get through it. Like, we turned it around, like it was just a blessing, like she was made just for us, and that we could get through it, and we did. It was just who Lexi was, and she was meant for us, and we were meant for her. And after about a year of her diagnosis and getting her therapies and whatnot, and my husband was in a really bad accident, and he ended up with 4 herniated discs in his back, and he was forced to go to a pain management doctor because he ran a plumbing business and he didn't want to have surgery. He was scared to become paralyzed. He heard horror stories and just didn't want to do that, and so he started taking pain medicines. And after about a year, maybe even a year and a half of taking medicines and then always upping the dose more and more, he was addicted. He was addicted. He couldn't function physically or mentally without them, which then it actually led into a heroin addiction. He would call it that he was a functioning addict because he could still go to work and do everything, so he kind of justified it, and I just wanted my happy family, so I let myself justify it too. He decided that enough was enough, and he wasn't going to do that anymore. If it meant that he was going to have to get surgery, he was going to do that. And then at 23 days of being sober, he died on my bathroom floor as I gave him CPR. And I lost all faith. Finally, it got so bad that I ended up calling one of my friends, Bethany, and she was actually at work, and I called her, and I told her, I don't know what to do. Like, it's not that I didn't want to live, but I didn't want to live. I didn't know how to live. I didn't know how to be a mother. I didn't know how to go grocery shopping. I just didn't know what to do. And she put me in touch with Brandy to get some grief counseling. So I welcomed the help, and looking back, I must have known that Bethany could help me or lead me in the right direction, because out of all the people that I could have called, I called her. She brought me to a Sunday service at Hope Hill, and Hope Hill wasn't her church, but she knew Brandy and everyone there. And I didn't say that I didn't believe in God, but I kept saying he's on pause is what I like to say. I was like, I'm not going to say he's not real, but he's on pause. I just couldn't do anything more than that. But after that first Sunday going to church with Bethany went back to her church. I still kept going to church. Something kept pulling me back there, and I wasn't sure what it was. I just kept going back, and I was put in, plugged into a community group, and I loved the people there. They were really. They were awesome people, really, really nice. But I kept going back because, I just felt like I needed to be there, and I felt at peace when I was there. After going there for about 5 months, my house was being foreclosed on, and I had to be out. I had a really short time that I had to be out of my house, and still not really having an intimate connection with anybody in the community group. They prayed for me. People that I didn't even know prayed for me, and I liked that. I liked them to pray for me, but I wouldn't pray for myself. I wouldn't ask God for anything. I just couldn't do that. About a week before I was scheduled to move to Florida, I was told that I had a townhouse, that they found a townhouse for me. I still didn't want to acknowledge that all this was coming from God. I still was not sure why these people were helping me and why they liked me, because I just didn't feel like I had anything to offer anybody. I felt like I was a broken something and that I couldn't offer anything to anybody. But people just kept loving me, and after Hope Hill had moved me in and subsidized so I could actually have my own place, I realized the need for a savior, and it was life-changing for me. It opened my eyes to a lot of things. That was a turning point for me. It was a life transformation for me. I still hurt a lot. I mean, there's a lot of reminders of my husband because we had such a deep connection. And every now and then I will hear like little voices like, oh, that was taken from you, or just things. And I know that that's the enemy trying to feed off of my sadness. And I don't let it. I say, I love my husband so much, and I know that he's in a better place and he's not hurting. And I know that he would be proud of me right now. And that makes me okay. It does. And I feel like I'm a better person because of all of this. And God knew that that would happen. I didn't. Even when I didn't have hope, He knew. And He knew that where I am right now is where He wanted me to be. And I wouldn't have got there had I not gone through everything that I have. And I decided that I wanted to live for God. I wanted to show Him how thankful I was that even though all of that stuff in my life that happened, that I was still here and I still had so much to give, and that I would find my place, because I didn't know where my place was, but that I had faith that He would help me find my place, shortly after that, my friend Terry had introduced me to a Christian doctor, and I was able to get a job there. And it really was where God wanted me to be, because I run into a lot of hurting people, and I'm able to help them, and it feels really good. It feels really, really good. I feel like I have a place, and I know that's because of God and because of His love for me, and I'm able to share that with other people, and that makes me feel whole, and I never thought I could feel whole again.